Good morning, Internet. It's the 25th of July 2023 and I find myself in Driffield. I'm about to start the Yorkshire Wolds Way, which is a 79 mile, 127 kilometre long distance path in the chalk landscapes of East Yorkshire. The National Trail Guide describes it as wending through some of the most tranquil and gentle countryside in England, from the banks of the mighty Humber estuary, along wooded slopes and through serene dry valleys. The walk climbs gently onto the airy tops of the rolling hills, where on it a clear day you can see forever. Descending from the northern escarpment, the final section of the way finishes on the dramatic headland of Filey Brig. So, let's go on and see what it's all about. But first, it's got to be breakfast.
The route was first promoted in 1972 in a book by the late David Rubenstein. He and the late Jeff Eastwood both faced legal action over its publication. They, like I, were in the East Yorkshire and Derwent area of the Ramblers. I was footpath secretary between 1970 and 1980, and some of my time was spent negotiating with landowners over the route. The Countryside Commission decided to take charge of the legal process of establishing and promoting the route, and the route came to fruition in 1982, and it has been improved over the years. David Rubenstein is third from the left in this photograph, and Jeff Eastwood second from the left. The start of the walk is at Hessle Haven. This used to be the site of Richard Dunstan's shipyard. There was also the ferryboat inn, but that is now commercial premises. The first part of the walk is part of the Transpennine Trail, first of many other trails that we will come across on the walk. The first path on the walk is named after Jean Hartley, autobiographer and publisher, and it was she and her husband George Hartley who published Philip Larkin's first book of poems. Let me introduce you to Cyril, my walking companion. You will see a lot of him because he was always up front. Humber Bridge from Hessle foreshore. Almost immediately you're along the foreshore of the Humber estuary. This estuary starts upstream at the junction of the Ouse and the Trent. A National Trail monument, closely followed by a beacon, the first of a few on the route. The Humber Bridge is a 1.38 mile single-span road suspension bridge which opened to traffic on the 24th of June 1981. When it opened, the bridge was the longest of its type in the world, and it was not surpassed until 1998. The Humber Bridge Rescue Centre, under the bridge, Hessle Mill is an example of an early 19th century whiting windmill. This industrial mill was used to crush chalk to produce whiting inside the whiting works, which were once attached to the surviving tower. The mill is part of the Humberbridge Country Park. The path runs between the estuary and the Hull to Selbury Railway, which was opened in 1840. After 3 miles we reached North Ferriby, where 3 Bronze Age sewn plank built boats were discovered. Only a small number of boats of a similar period have been found in Britain, and the North Ferriby examples are the earliest known found in Europe. An attempt to follow the low tide route along the shore had to be abandoned as it was too close to high tide, and we journeyed inland on the alternative route through North Ferriby. We soon came across a cafe for a mid-morning break. All Saints' Church has a distinctive spire and was completed in 1848. The route took us over the A63, the main road between Hull and Leeds, and then into Long Plantation as we climbed up onto the Wolds. Elton Scout Camp site at 5 miles. The route descended into Welton, a lovely little village where we had a picnic on the bench and looked at the Church of St Helen and the pub in the centre of the village, the Green Dragon. The pub's name comes from the crest of the Earls of Pembroke. The pub was the alleged location where Dick Turpin was arrested for horse theft in 1739 before being tried and hanged in York. It was also the first recorded place where an accidental fatal shooting occurred in England. From there we went into Welton Dale passing the mill, which was constructed in the late 1700s, followed by a series of ponds containing the Welton Springs, which obviously fed the mill. Then it was up into the dry valley. The official Wolds Way route misses out Ellerton Dale, so we took an alternative route through that dale, meeting up with the official route just above Brantingham. Oh, we're climbing steeply out of Ellerton Dale now. It's been a lovely day so far. Speckled clouds and very high humidity, but it's been dry. Still going up. We're on the last hill. When we reach the top, it's downhill into Brantingham. Brantingham has a lovely village pond in green, next to a cream telephone box, a relic of the days when Hull City Council had its own public telephone network. I hope you've enjoyed this first stage of our walk along the Wolds Way. Please subscribe if you want to get more from this channel, and like it if you did, and come back again for stage 2.